shadow of time and history, Petra stands as a city carved not just into stone, but into mystery itself. Hidden in the rugged terrain of southern Jordan, this ancient marvel seems to whisper secrets about its past. A past that may be far more intertwined with human history than we've ever imagined. Could this be the city that once held the spiritual gaze of millions? Some say Petra, not Mecca, was the original sacred city of early Islam. This idea isn't just speculation. It's rooted in compelling patterns. The city, with its intricate architecture, advanced irrigation systems, and monumental importance in ancient trade, was more than a thriving metropolis. It was a crossroads of culture and religion, a place where sacred traditions might have first taken shape. The towering rose-red rock faces of Petra aren't just beautiful. They may hold evidence that challenges the very core of what we think we know about the origins of Islam. But if Petra truly was the first Qibla, why has it faded from spiritual memory? Why does Islamic tradition so firmly point to Mecca instead? The theories range from political shifts to theological evolution, leaving us with tantalizing clues, but no definitive answers. So, could Petra hold the key to one of history's greatest mysteries? Or is it merely an echo of ancient greatness, misunderstood in modern times? Let's unravel this enigma together. Welcome to Celestial Chronicles. Qibla alignments and early mosques. When early Muslims prayed, they faced a specific direction, the Qibla. Today, this direction points to Mecca, but some researchers believe it wasn't always this way. They argue that the Qiblas of the first mosques weren't aligned with Mecca, but with another ancient city, Petra. This idea comes from studying the remains of early mosques like those in Kufa and Fustat, built during Islam's first century. Their orientations don't match modern Mecca, but seem to point toward Petra, raising big questions. Did early Muslims pray toward this legendary city in Jordan? And if so, why did the direction change later? Some critics say these alignments were accidental, claiming ancient builders didn't have precise tools. Others argue that environmental factors, like the shape of the land, influenced construction. But the consistency of the alignments toward Petra makes this harder to dismiss. If Petra was once the original Qibla, why was Mecca chosen instead? Did religious leaders shift the focus deliberately? Or was it part of a natural evolution of Islam as it spread? These questions remain unanswered, leaving Petra at the center of one of history's most intriguing debates. Could this ancient city hold the truth about Islam's earliest days? What do you think? Let's discuss in the comments. Descriptions of Mecca in early texts. Early Islamic texts describe Mecca as a thriving city with fertile lands, flowing water, and active trade routes. But when we look at the Mecca we know today, an arid desert region, these descriptions feel out of place. Could they have been talking about a different location entirely? Some researchers believe these accounts might actually match Petra. Petra was a flourishing city in ancient times, famous for its gardens, advanced water systems, and position along major trade routes. It was surrounded by valleys and mountains, just like the descriptions in Islamic tradition. Could this ancient city in Jordan have been the true birthplace of Islam's early community? Supporters of the theory argue that Petra fits the historical and geographical details better than modern Mecca. But others disagree, suggesting that the descriptions were symbolic or that changes in the environment over time could explain the differences. If these texts really describe Petra, it would mean the spiritual heart of Islam started in a very different place than we thought. But why would the sacred focus shift from Petra to Mecca? Was it a natural change over time, or did something happen to erase Petra from the story? This mystery challenges everything we think we know about history. Could the answers still be buried in the sands of Jordan? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. The Nabateans and their role in early Islam. The Nabateans were the ancient people of Petra, known for their incredible skills in trade, architecture, and water management. They built Petra into a thriving city and left behind an impressive legacy carved into the rose-colored stone. But could their culture have influenced the development of early Islam? One interesting clue is their use of a script that evolved into early Arabic writing. The Nabateans had a rich tradition of worship, including cubic shrines that resemble the Kaaba in Mecca. These similarities have led some researchers to wonder if early Islamic practices were inspired in part by Nabatean traditions. Petra was also a major hub for trade, connecting different cultures and ideas. This made it a crossroads for religious and cultural exchange. Could this have made Petra a spiritual center during the earliest days of Islam? But by the 7th century, Petra was no longer a dominant city. Changing trade routes and natural disasters caused its decline. Some believe this shift in power and prominence could explain why Mecca eventually replaced Petra as the focal point of Islam. If the Nabateans did play a role in shaping early Islam, what other clues might still be hidden in the ruins of Petra? Could uncovering these connections reshape our understanding of history? Share your thoughts below. The idea that Petra was the original Qibla is fascinating, but it has faced a lot of criticism. Many experts argue that the theory is built on weak evidence and doesn't match what we know from Islamic history. While Petra's grandeur and strategic importance make it an attractive candidate, skeptics believe the evidence doesn't hold up to scrutiny. One major counter-argument is the methodology used to study mosque alignments. Critics claim the measurements are imprecise and that ancient builders may not have had the tools to perfectly orient mosques. Instead, they suggest the alignments were influenced by local geography, regional practices, or human error, rather than a deliberate focus on Petra. Another issue lies in the Islamic historical record. Traditional accounts firmly place Mecca as the birthplace of Islam and the center of its early rituals. Archaeological evidence, such as artifacts and inscriptions, supports Mecca's significance during this time. There's no clear mention of Petra as a religious center in early Islamic texts, which makes the theory difficult to verify. Skeptics also point out that natural changes in Petra's trade importance don't explain a spiritual shift. If Petra had been central to early Islamic worship, why is there no solid trace of this in Islamic tradition? They suggest the theory may be driven more by speculation than fact, with little direct evidence to support such a dramatic claim. Despite these criticisms, the Petra theory continues to intrigue people. It challenges accepted narratives and invites fresh exploration of ancient history. But could the lack of strong evidence mean we're looking in the wrong place? Or is it possible that pieces of the story have been lost over time, waiting to be rediscovered? Let's discuss your thoughts in the comments. The idea of Petra being the original Qibla raises as many questions as it answers. If Petra truly was the spiritual center of early Islam, why was it replaced by Mecca? Was this shift a natural part of history, or was it a deliberate decision made for religious or political reasons? One possibility is that the move to Mecca marked an effort to unify a growing community around a new center of worship, separate from the Nabatean influence. Another theory suggests that as Petra's importance declined due to changing trade routes and natural disasters, Mecca's prominence grew, making it a more practical choice for the spiritual heart of Islam. But if this shift occurred, why do Islamic texts and traditions only emphasize Mecca? Could evidence of Petra's role have been erased or forgotten over time? Or is it possible that the theory about Petra is based on misunderstandings of ancient architecture and history? We also need to consider how much of this mystery depends on the evidence we have or don't have today. Future discoveries could bring clarity to this debate. Archaeological digs, newly translated texts, or even advances in technology could uncover details that change our understanding of Islam's early days. For now, Petra's connection to early Islam remains an open question. Could this ancient city hold secrets that rewrite history? Or is it simply a misinterpreted piece of the puzzle? What do you think? Let's talk about it in the comments, and keep exploring the mysteries of the past.